but certainly the environment loses out endlessly, because, you know, all these things say, as long, well, you know, the whole sort of remit of the NFP, whatever, seems to say, unless there are major reasons for not giving permission should be given for almost everything, really. That seems to be the overriding sort of theme of the thing. And yet, you know, when you come up with certainly environmental reasons for not doing something, they don't appear to bear the same weight, which is very frustrating. So I think it's how you want to read it, really, as so often these things are. It's a matter of interpretation and, you know, the balance, the weight given to different things, which is what planning is all about in the end, really.
And what about, you've got the core strategy for Herefordshire. There's very little in there about farming, in fact.
Well, that's a very... Just to quickly say again before I forget it, in the previous plan, we had, what do they call it, a guidance document, a policy... what's it called? A SDP, special policy document or something. That's the one. And we had one on intensive livestock units, and we don't have one in the core strategy. And I and another councillor, Anthony Powers, took a motion to council to say we feel there should be one, and we were saying there's several very good examples in other counties that we could use, because they were muttering about planners haven't got time to do it, or we could simply cut and paste from the previous one, which could be improved but was okay to start with. And what we were always told was it will be included in the minerals and waste plan when that comes through. Well, that's been kicking along for years and years. I'm on the working group, or the task and finish, or whatever it is, but it's still not there, and unlikely to be, I think, for probably at least, or certainly a few months, maybe another year. So we don't have any guidance in place whatsoever, and I think that's a very serious gap. And, you know, who knows, maybe it could leave us quite vulnerable at some point, not having that sort of, you know, proper planning guidance for livestock units.
So the previous plan, that was the UDP, or something, Unitary Development Plan.
Yes, that's one.
I've seen the supplementary planning guidance for polytunnels. Was there actually one?
There was one specifically for intensive livestock units. I've probably got a copy somewhere. I could dig it out, actually.
Nobody's actually mentioned that specifically.
Right. Oh, well, there definitely was one. Do you want to go and get my planning? I may keep it, because I sometimes keep it in my planning folder, just you know.
Oh, that would be really helpful.
I'll see if I've got it. I think that out. Offload stuff, so I don't take it all with me, but I'm sure I've copied it off at some point, just to have it handy. Probably not. Going back rather a long way, I'm afraid.
No, don't worry. No,
it was. Oh, here we are. Yes, E16. It's fairly innocuous. It's not massively, you know, but it is at least guide. You know, it is a policy supplementary.
I think no, sorry. I was thinking it was a separate document, but it's part of that. I think I've got that previous I'll check when I get
Okay,
home, but I
right,
think
right.
I've got the previous the
Okay.
UDP version.
Anyway,
Because the
it was something.
polytunnels one was actually a completely separate
It was, yes,
thing
because
of
for
several
years.
pages.
That's right. We had nothing for ages, and when the whole polytunnel thing was boiling and getting very fraught, we didn't have anything. I think we in Kent were the only places in the country that didn't have any sort of policy, and obviously we were about to be rolled right over because S&A were. The chap who was director at the time, who's stepped down now, but he was talking about wanting polytunnels from Lempster to Ledbury and all the rest of it. The new management are much better, and polytunnels are still a bit of a pain, but their approach is much more sensible, and they're not trying to sort of put them everywhere now.
You mentioned that other areas have intensive livestock unit guidelines. Are any particular examples?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I just remember Anthony saying, actually, when we put the motion, saying there are this, that. So I can certainly, let you have them.
I have approached him.
You have.
I'll see if I
so he's certainly taken it. It's one of the things he's also quite seriously concerned about.
Quite interesting to see what is done in other areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lemon and ginger.
Lovely, thank you very much.
It's a really good one, that one's one of my favourites.
That's great.
Thanks, great.
Thanks, Pete, that's brilliant. Is there anything else on the core strategy? I think they've told me what the review process is, or the time frame for reviewing it, which would be another few years, I believe. I mean, is there some scope for a more strategic approach to where they go?
Well, that's a good question. Probably not, because simply, what we do seems to be to respond to whatever comes forward, and that very much depends on the individual farmer, really, as far as I can gather. I mean, for example, the local one at Sagbatch, I mean, it's a farmer, young members of the family rather want to. I mean, I understand them really. I've had good chats with them, and although they know I'm completely don't like them and wouldn't support them, I'm very happy to make their case and to say, well, this is a family who want to expand. They've got young. The younger members are coming up, getting married, needing, more income, etc. And that's why they're doing it. I can see why. And it looks too good not to take up. It seems to be a successful, profitable business.
It's interesting. Did you? I wasn't going to ask about particular ones that are current, but it's just interesting what you're saying there, and whether what other options they've looked at. If they've considered other diversification opportunities.
Well, I didn't really get onto that with them, and whether that's the case with other farmers, I don't know. I think the thing is that often it's made so easy for them. I mean, they insist that they are not involved with Cargills. But virtually everyone of them are, and they seem to have some arrangement. I mean, as far as I can gather, some of them, the whole package is sort of put together by Cargills, and sort of, the farmer is it's their farm and their business and so on. But the advice and support and all the rest of it is coming from Cargills. But the people at Sagbatch certainly say that's not the case, and they haven't even got an arrangement to sell the stuff through Cargills.
Cargills do make arrangements. They do have arrangements with farmers who apply to say, if you get it all right through, then we'll take your chicken. So if they haven't got that, that may be the case.
It may. Yeah, it just seemed a bit strange, because you'd think you'd want that sort of assurance, wouldn't you? Really? I mean, he may have meant we haven't signed on the dotted line a contract, but the understanding is, I don't know. But yes, I mean, the interesting thing is, what else would you do, of course, and that would be worth asking. I must admit I haven't asked it. I would have thought there were other options, fruit farming and this and that. There must be all sorts of other things that seem to be fairly successful in the county.
It's just making me think, well, maybe I should see if I could speak to them. Anyway, I'll
most of the time, just to quickly say, when it comes to planning, you're way beyond that. You know, those sort of questions I could and should be asking of local people. You know, this one it's the only one that I've had in my actual ward. But normally you don't have that